South Park! Everyone loves this silly, offensive, yet charming and satirical show. The show has been around since the 90s, and they're still making episodes to this day. They are on their 26th season now, and they even celebrated 25 years of the show just last year. Wow, how wacky is that? With the show being on TV for a long time now, and being up there as one of the most popular adult animated shows next to Family Guy and The Simpsons, there will come copycats and ripoffs of the show to mark it off of the popularity of the show's existence. That, and they might just be too lazy to come up with original ideas for their own show, so they just rip off some other show. But besides the point, Now, what show would do such a thing? And how close is it to looking like South Park? Well, the show that I'm, of course, going to be talking about in this video is Block 13. And the resemblance is almost identical. Well, the art style is, that's for damn sure. So what is Block 13? Block 13 is a Kuwaiti adult animated show that was released back in 2000. Wow, that was like 23 years ago. What the fuck? The show came out with 3 seasons. Yeah, literally 3 seasons. I'm as shocked as you are. It was a really popular show. And the last episode aired in 2002. The show is classified as an Arabic adaptation and has a similar premise as South Park. Block 13 follows the children of a tiny Kuwait street and their daily shenanigans. That's pretty much it. I say more. The only difference between these two shows are the characters and the locations. Block 13 takes place in Kuwait, and South Park takes place in, you guessed it, South Park, Colorado. What's weird about the show, and the things that instantly catches my eyes when I first, saw this show and the episodes of it, is the bizarre art style and animation. Yes, Block 13 has similar art style as South Park. I think we can all agree with that. It looks very similar. Honestly, it's really close to the original art style, but it's just slightly different to the point where it just doesn't look right. Like, it's weird looking. Mostly the mouths of the characters in Block 13. They're thicker than South Park's character's mouth, and it just looks weird, I don't know, it just doesn't look right. Maybe I'm so used to South Park, I don't know. The animation is also very different as well, cheap looking too. Since Block 13's animation feels rushed and very choppy, which just makes everything not as smooth, especially the talking animations of the characters. They don't sync up very well to the dialogue being said by the voice actors. Not just that, but it just looks weird. It looks weird. It looks like waves, I was like, when they're talking, it's weird. When the characters are talking, they also barely have any body movements, and the only thing that moves is their mouth. No expressions, no gestures. They just don't feel alive, and it's kind of creepy when you're watching it. Now look, South Park's animation isn't anything to be excited about either. But, at least the movements of the characters in the show look and feel smoother, they are more expressive, and overall they feel more alive. Another thing that is very similar are the characters in the show. Block 13 essentially took the original 4 characters from South Park and put them into their own show and changed them up a bit. Here's a fun game to play. Let's try to guess the characters and who they're supposed to resemble. Block 13 and South Park, let's play it. This is Abood. Hopefully I'm pronouncing this name right. Sorry if I'm not. Now, which character do you think he looks like from South Park? Take a guess. Why, that's Eric Cartman, of course. Now try this question up for size. This is Saloom. What do you think he is? What do you think he's supposed to resemble? Huh? That's Kenny. Oh my god, they killed Kenny. The joke, haha. Alright, the last one. This is Azuz. Yeah, that's Kyle. Well, that was a pretty easy game, wasn't it? Literally, the characters are pretty much the same as South Park, just with different designs and different clothing and different names. It's whatever. Another thing that's pretty different is the humor in Block 13, and it's one of the things that are very different from South Park, right? Same goes as the plots and stories of each episode. The show's main targeted audience is, of course, from Kuwait, and around that region, since this show never really became insanely popular elsewhere. But surprisingly, the show was really popular in Kuwait during its lifespan, from 2000 to 2002, and that all comes down to the show targeting their main audience through their humor and plots relating to their culture and home. The show dealt with many issues that concern the Kuwaiti society, but did it in a smooth and funny way. The show was made to be aired in the holy month of Ramadan, right after the time when people broke their fast. This is heavily mentioned throughout the show, but mostly in episode 5, season 1. The episode's theme revolves around fasting, which is a practice that is done in religion. The episode is essentially about most of the main characters fasting, while Abood is struggling and ends up eating and not really caring much about fasting because, and I quote, he's a fat ass and he wants to eat cake. Okay, that's actually kind of funny. The episode is just meant to poke fun at the character because he's fat. How funny! The humor in the show is also a lot more tame and not as offensive and outlandish as South Park, and there isn't anything wrong with that. It's just that some of the jokes in each episode of the show aren't really funny. Sure, there's funny parts sprinkled throughout the show, but you know, that's only through awkward and weird situations that each character might be in or go through. Or just weird, silly looking moments in the show that made me burst out into laughter. There's one part of the show that I found pretty funny, where one of the characters, I think it was Abood, as he states that they are not South Park, but they are Block 13. I don't know, I just thought it was a little funny joke in the show, you know. A little nod to South Park, you know, might as well, right? It also doesn't help that the show also steals popular and recurring jokes from South Park in a lot of the episodes too, so yeah. South Park, of course, has cruel and offensive jokes, of course. If you have seen the show, you know. But the humor in that show is done pretty well and is pretty comedic at times, you know? Either way, good for Block 13 for trying to stay original as possible with their own plots and humor in the episode. You know, step away from South Park a little bit. You know, even if they aren't really good, it's good to be original at times. Also, can we take a moment to appreciate the theme song to Block 13? My God, this song absolutely slaps. It's so fucking good. It's better than the South Park theme, in my opinion. Hopefully you like my dance. Anyways, in conclusion, Block 13 is an interesting show and adaptation of South Park. It's almost bizarre in a way, you know? But it was made, and it did extremely well in Kuwait, so, you know, good for the creators of the show on their end for making something that really became popular in the country, you know? Good for them, good for them. It's not bad, but I personally don't like it, and I'll probably just stick with watching South Park from now on. But because the theme song in the show is an absolute masterpiece and just phenomenally written and catchy too, I can't help but give this show a 10 out of 10 on Sankobyte. So 10 out of 10 for you, Block 13. But what do you all think about the show? Do you like it, or do you think it's cringe and a copy of South Park? Leave your comments down below. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye! This is a video. This is a YouTube video. Look, YouTube video. This is a YouTube video. It's not even my background.